Today I'm going to take a little bit of time and talk about a truck that I've been working with for probably about 8 months or so. I've had it for a good while. This is the second one of these I actually had. This is a GCM skeletal chassis. This one's running the RC 4-wheel drive Yoda axles. I had one previously before this that ran the SCX axles, but I got rid of it. I didn't build this truck 100% completely. I'd purchased this from a friend named John Cole. He was the original builder. I bought it off him, made some changes, tuned it to my likings and stuff, and I've been beating on it ever since. Right now I've got the front bumper cut out as I'm getting ready to install another different bumper for a winch and mod and stuff for it. This has the boom racing body. The body has taken a beating. It's rolled and flipped. Anybody that knows and that has trailed with me knows that I'm not the most gentle with my trail trucks. This thing's taken some falls in the plastic. It's hard plastic. It is held up through everything and nothing's broke, no cracks. Couldn't be more satisfied for a hard body. It has taken the abuse and the punishment that I've put it through, and it's got a long way to go, I do believe. On this particular setup, I'm running the RC 4-wheel drive 1.5 wagon wheels. Kind of hard to see with no light. They're black with 1.5 RC 4-wheel drive mudslingers. I do switch the tires out from time to time, but I end up coming back to the mudslingers on it. I run light kit on this. I've got lights in the front, lights in the back. No more lights than that. I'm trying to keep this Jeep here specifically as stock looking as I can, other than the bumper upgrade that I'm getting ready to do on it, and that's just so I can run a winch. Took it apart the other day for the first time since I've had it and re-greased everything. Put some thread lock on all the parts and stuff. Pulled the motor out. I was running brushless in it. I'm now going to go back to a brush setup in this one. I'll go ahead and pull the body off. There's several different ways you can mount the bodies. I'll show you the way that this one's done. But I'll pull the body off and show you some of the insides for those that may not have seen these or have seen them but overlooked them. And I'll show you what the setup for the RC 4-wheel drive Yoda axles are in case you haven't seen that one versus the ones with the SCX10 axles. So let me grab my drivers here. On this setup here, there's a piece of aluminum that's bent to go around there, and it screws it. It's got 2 screws that go into the body. Very solid, secure, doesn't go anywhere. And then in the front here, it's got 2 screw holes that go into places into the front of the body. They're also very solid. Like I said, this thing has taken a beating, and I've not had no failure of anything on this. So I will pull the body off the chassis. Take 2 out here. Take these 2. That's the mounting plate that holds the rear on. And then for the front, take 2 more out. It don't require a mounting plate. It's got a plate built into the chassis that has a extra servo spot where you could mount an extra servo if you wanted to for like a servo winch or something. I'm not going to run a servo winch, so I used it for mounting used the holes in the chassis plate for mounting the body on. Pull it through. You have to excuse my tape that I have that's holding my wires down, but if you look, there's tabs that come off the stock body post that's what I screw into from the chassis. All functioning doors and stuff. Very durable bodies, worth the money. They are pricey for what they are, but worth the money. And like I said, I have the motor pulled out of it, but it uses a SCX10 transmission mounted to a forward-facing motor mount on the chassis, and then from there it runs to a transfer case. GCM makes a nice aluminum machine transfer case with some good gears in it. Then as the outputs it run to your axles. Like I said, I was running brushless in this. I was running a 13.5 Novak system in it, and I run it on 3S, beat it, pound on it. Never had any issues at all whatsoever. Transfer case gears have held up. Then I'm running the RC 4-wheel drive Toyota axles on it. They've held up. The only issues I've had was if they didn't have Loctite on the screws. Every once in a while I'd have a screw back out and lose it. That's part of why I went ahead and took it all apart, because like I said, I wasn't the original builder of this one. But I did go through, rebuild everything, Loctited it all. It's got Proline shocks in the front. And the rear, it's got a little bit shorter aluminum shock from a touring car set up. Not a whole lot of articulation, but this is more scale. More for a scale appearance and less for crazy articulation. It works out fine. By the time I get my motor mounted in here, let me see if I've got one of my batteries handy that mounts that I use for it. I've got a battery that I can slide in this way. Sits right there with some Velcro. Then I got a strap that I put around there. By the time my motor's there and that there, and then I've got a little spot right there for my receiver and speed control. It's tight. I've also, depending on what speed control I run, because I've tried a few different setups, I've also set my battery under the plate. I don't know if you can see the camera angle, but there's my battery there under the plate with Velcro and straps, so I got more room if I needed it for a bigger speed control and receiver. But nevertheless, it's got a few options for mounting. It's got the plate up here and I was talking about it had a place for mounting a servo up front for a winch. It's got, if you look right there, it's hard to see, but it's got knockouts. You can knock that tab out, knock that tab out, knock that, bend it, breaks off clean. You can slide a servo in there and run a servo for a winch if you needed to. Like I said, I'm going to go with a custom front bumper that I've made. Something quick and cheap that I welded up. I'm going to put some brackets on there to hold it, and that'll be where my winch goes. That's really about it. GCM, when you buy the skeletal kit, it comes with a Durlon skid, but it's been a nice skid. I've beat on it, bashed on it, and it looks really nice and clean. When you buy the kit, this one came with the complete kit, so it came with the links and everything, so that was nice. It's got chassis mounted servo, so you run the front panhard. It came with the link and everything for that. I've been nothing but impressed with all my GCM products. I'd like to thank the guys up there for their innovations and their creativeness for where they've taken the hobby to. And I'm going to leave it about that. I may do an updated video on after I have everything back together, and maybe do a running video on it. Let you guys see how it handles and performs. It's been a really nice running rig, and it's been a fun one to mess with. Thanks for watching, and leave comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you'd like to, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be making more videos as the time comes. Thank you all very much.